Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Record Breakers, a music podcast where a group of friends share music with each other. And while I accidentally smack my pop filter, it's like a book club for music. Where we all, give each other an album to listen to. We give our honest opinions and do our thing. Super fun. I'm Peter Ray of Your Man Window Plan. Here with me is, of course, my team, my squad, my crew. We've got Brett.
Hey, I'm not Marion Cobretti at all. I'm your friendly neighborhood Brett. Hi guys.
We've got Drew.
Hi.
Park closes at 11.
We've got Patrick.
Y'all remember Bubba Sparks because we just
Wow. Yeah, we did. We totally did.
Yeah, we just remember Bubba Sparks. And we will soundly forget him in about half an hour. Because we're not talking about Bubba Sparks.
Nope. It's going to be my next album.
Wow.
We're here to talk about music. We gathered to talk about music. And I've got the burden of presenting an album, or the chance, the opportunity of presenting an album. And my album pick, I figured we're gonna go ahead and revisit them now that they've created their they've released their next set of songs from their Patreon project, Love Extereo, with their latest collection of tracks off of their 37 Patreon project, 37B. It's a really cool album. What I'm gonna start with Brett. Brett, what were your expectations coming into this album?
Well, I hadn't listened to any of this yet. I knew it was the one "What Has Legs" on the cover because I had been to Spotify, and Spotify remembers albums that I've listened to because I saved them. And I saw there was more, but I didn't go in. Honestly, we've seen, we've heard. This is well-worn territory for us, so I kind of knew what I was getting into, but I didn't know what they were going to throw at me that was new.
Yeah. Drew, what were your expectations coming into this album?
I remember liking it last time that we dove into some Love Extereo. I couldn't exactly remember why. But I remember I super dug it, and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait for more!" And then there was more, and then it completely went over my head until you're like, "Hey, yo, we're listening to this." I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, that."
And Patrick, what were your expectations coming into this album?
I'm either the best or worst patron for Love Extereo because I just give them money every month, but don't actually pay attention to this stuff as it comes out. I'm just like, please keep making music. Here's money because I love you. So this was surprisingly enough, I think, my first time through this record since it had just come out relatively recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Full disclosure, I guess.
Yes, full disclosure. Yes. We both
money interests.
I think at least half of us are patrons of this Patreon.
They do that thing where I give them
money.
Give them a few dollars a month, and they continue to make music for me.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, really cool. A-Dog, what's up? Yeah.
5 coming in here? Like, what the fuck?
Yes. Musically speaking, when we talk about this album on a music level, it's a lot of what Love Extereo does well, which is their signature synth-pop sound. With it's Annie's vocals, it's all the cool instrumentation, it's all their cool production work. It's the big thing about them is that they do things with purpose, but with creativity, purposeful creativity. I guess it's it's each has a song has an idea and a purpose and a drive to it. There's a lot of really cool there's some really cool different sounds and moods and tempos in this. There's some still their if you remember from previous albums, they're like more up tempo, like high energy songs. But it does do a really good job kind of having, especially early in the album, having a cool like a vibey feel to it, very vibey synth feel to it, which is really cool. And yeah, and it all works really well. I'm the worst at describing things musically, so I'll leave it to you guys. Brett, how would you describe this album musically?
I'm the blurst. But no, I mean, this is a strong vocals album. It's very much on the poppy side of things, but you know, the vocals are always in the front of the mix. It's definitely there, but there's so much more going on behind the vocals than what you would expect from, you know, standard fare. Definitely there is a lot more here than just what it says on paper. There's some like ridiculous synth work, like you have come to expect. It's sort of what they do now. That's kind of super interesting to me. The way that they do some weird things in weird ways, and I'll get into that when I do my rapid fire through all of the things that I picked out that were noteworthy. But like the production is meticulously, you know, you can tell where they spent their time, and the effort they put into came out in another pretty good album that I guess half of us paid for.
Yes. Drew, how would you describe this album musically?
Well, getting into it, I sort of instantly remembered why I dig this band, and that's because like the vocals themselves, like Brett said, it sits on top of the mix. It is sort of the bread and butter of this band, but the musicality under it is just absolutely fantastic. The synth work in it is great.
Isn't it?
It's just, it is. It's something that like just all of it is really fun and super cool. The guitar work also, like the tones and the way they compose the songs to include that sort of stuff is just really neat. There is some like songs in here that have like a 90s ass feel to them for one reason or another, which I'm not super opposed to. It just like struck me sort of odd, but like everything about it is just the two of these two think out this stuff really, really well. And it's something that's just at times like it's the most relaxing album I've listened to in a while, and at other times I'm bopping around like an idiot in my car, and it's just cool that the band can live in those two places and do them so incredibly well.
Yeah. The 90s sound very much comes from the fact that they grew up and were making music in the 90s. And they were, that's part of their lineage was like Toby was in a punk band for like years, like throughout the 90s and 2000s, and they played together in like the band called Screw Attack for many years. The fact that the 37, by the way, if you don't, if we didn't touch upon it, or if you don't remember, is from the fact that they had both turned 37 last year. I believe Toby in international age and Annie in Korean age. They both turned 37 last year, so they're veterans as far as making music, and and that influence shows. It's really great. But yeah, Patrick, how would you describe this album musically?
So, Love X Stereo, I feel like putting one genre on them is difficult, but this album is really, I think, a purposeful exploration of genres. Like there is, stuff on here that sounds like straight up, like 90s, club music. There's stuff on here that's sort of soul and R&B. There's stuff on here that is just Love X Stereo style synth pop, and I think they were trying some shit, and that's kind of fun. I like that about this whole 37 project is if you're gonna make 37 songs in a relatively short period of time, you're gonna try some shit, and I like that. And I feel like this is them getting a little experimental, and it's kind of fun because of that.
Yeah. And I think it all works really well, and it all works cohesively. And we get into some of the tracks that it is in that. And like you get songs like Insta Love, which just had a really cool that vibing feel, that sense feel, that the music, the instrumentation is really cool on that one, and the vibe is really cool, and of course the main thing, Annie's vocals are fantastic in that one. It kind of also is followed up by an interesting song in Turn It Up, which had like we said, the R&B tinges to it, which they explored previously in a song on 37A. Even like Annie trying a completely different vocalization in the way she was singing the song, which I thought was really cool, and like kind of threw that off. And a song like Thunder Kiss just had a really great energy. No, not that one. Not it was not 65. It's just Thunder Kiss. There's no Rob Zombie in here. She even address that. But yeah, it still had a great energy. And then like song like Pulse, which just had just kind of like this overwhelming vibe in it, like this overwhelming energy, which was fantastic, and like this desperation, which is just felt really cool, musically speaking. This desperation you can hear in the sound. Yeah. Brett, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Well, we're going to cover some ground here, and that way I don't do every single song on this track forever. But yeah, it was Rob Zombie ska? I don't think so. Close, but no. Okay, well, the album opens up. Okay, you get Nosedive. Sounds like you're starting out a new Metroid game. Insta Love. It's got some Just What I Needed by the Cars guitar tone going on. I found that noteworthy. Turn It Up. I like the bass. The bass is well in the front of the mix, and it has that R&B feel that Pedro was talking about. Thunder Kiss. No date put on that, but there's some synth. There's also somebody, I think how they did it was somebody had a spring reverb tank and they kicked it and it made that weird noise, and then they put that through delay. That is the sprung of the album. It wasn't necessary. They did it once. It was it wasn't necessary at all, but it was in there.
I think that's an analog delay pedal going into full modulation. If you have certain analog delay pedals, if you sweep them after you can oscillate them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what that is that you hit something into it and then you crank it all the way up and it oscillates. You can do it with I think it's something, I feel like it's a Boss RE20 thing.
You can do it with a lot of delays, I think the MXRs. But it definitely was put through delay because they was definitely repeating in a uniform way. It did not need to be there. It was cool. Deeper Than the Dark, which is more synth work. Slipping Away. This was the We're Gonna Let the Drums Do Drums track, and it had some weird guitar jangle tone that reminded me of the lo-fi bands from 10 to 15 years ago. There was a lot of different things going on here, and not all of them are exactly what I would expect from them.
Yeah. Drew, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Look Around the Blue. That was sort of when I was like super down with like everything. The hypnotic melody of it all was really great. Thunder Kiss, the bubblegum synth brightness put the brightest, like biggest smile on my face every time. And then slipping away, there was something about like that bouncy, like a modulated, like synth, like a riding that wheel sort of feel. It was a great touch to end, I think, the album. And
If it was like you were on a
fun.
drug, like if you're on a drug, but like one that you made up in your head because you don't know from drugs.
Yeah.
It's like it's like what Nuke would make you feel like,
Yeah.
or Bloody Eye.
Yeah.
Patrick,
Sorry.
what would be some of the key tracks for you?
I'm gonna try not to do the Drew thing and name them all. Revolution's really nice. It really that feels like a Love X Stereo song, but like in all the right places. I feel like Annie's vocals on this record were probably some of her best. They just sound really good. Insta Love. I like that we get more or less an untouched guitar tone for once in a minute for them. They've really done the synth thing lately, but like Toby's a guitar player too, and for the first time in a minute, we really got to hear him just play guitar on a song. Trendkill. I love this song because it sounds like the fucking Prodigy. Like, just in the middle of this is like, nah, this is just 90s fucking British dance. We're just gonna, yeah, like it's like the drum machine sound is sort of vaguely trance music, and it feels like a Prodigy song, and I think we've established I enjoy Prodigy. And then the closing track, Slipping Away, it's a nice song to close on. It's very high energy, really, really good synth. There's some piano in there, although I don't know if it's a real piano, it doesn't matter, but like a quote unquote natural piano sound in there. It really is a really good example of there's like some guitar stuff in there that why, like, even if you can make something that sounds vaguely guitar-like come out of a synth, you can't really make guitar sounds without a guitar just because of the nature of the way it's played. So the guitar stuff was really cool and added to it, but kind of all the songs.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's they all, like, we can name all the songs basically, and like say that there's something really cool about each and every one of them. I think that's just like there's so much that they do creatively, and it's so cool. But I'll leave my conclusive thoughts until after I give you guys your chance to give your conclusive thoughts. Brett, what is your conclusion on this album?
Did you know that Keith Flint is 48 years old? Also, I can't make my hair do that. But now I think I'm going to have to make the Prodigy occur again in my head. No, this album, like, obviously we all had an okay time with it. This is about what you come to expect from these fellers. It's not like, it's kind of crazy that this much content is being pushed out in such a fast amount of time, and covering such a wide range. Like, things are a lot different now than they were when we first started listening to this band for this show many, many moons ago. So, like, I enjoyed my time with this album. I would imagine if you've enjoyed anything in the past by them, you would. It's for fans of the genre. I believe that this is right up your alley.
Yeah. Drew, what would be your conclusion on this album?
I'm gonna thank the one below me right now in the video and the one to the left. Thank them.
Flip you off from everything.
That one, yep. For supporting these people on Patreon so that I can listen to the music that we just got. Because I very much enjoyed it. Like I said, there's a lot in here, and it's good for a lot of different people. There will be tracks that you can you can sort of relax and lose yourself in. There's tracks that you can dance around to, and everything in between. These two are very smart in what they do, and they do it very, very well.
Yeah. Patrick, what is your conclusion on this album?
I think this is some of their best work. I feel like trying to like the idea of let's not do an album, let's basically do 3.5 albums. Was really ambitious, and it continues to end up producing really good music. Seriously, go if you enjoy their music, just throw them $1 a month. Like that's it. Like that makes all the difference. Is little tiny bit of money their way if you enjoy their music. Since we're all listening to it on streaming services and they're getting pennies. And they're
go buy it on Bandcamp.
Go buy it on Bandcamp. Go,
get it on cassette tape at your local Sam Goody.
I'm saying this as someone who takes almost zero advantage of the Patreon perks. I just give them money every month because I know whenever the next thing comes out, I'm going to love it.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's a big thing of why I love them. They just consistently make good music, and they're fantastic as artists and creative folk. If you've been paying attention to the Patreon, they kind of admittedly said they kind of fell a little short of their 37 in a calendar year, just a bit, but they got a little bit busy. But the fact that it wasn't literally 37 songs in a year, but these that matters. It was the fact that they went and ambitiously drove themselves to seek challenges in their music and be able to create and conclude songs and conclude things and create a thing and just let it be at that moment. It was just a really great challenge for themselves, a really great effort to push themselves as artists and as singers and songwriters, and we reap all the benefits of a couple of really awesome LPs that we can enjoy and talk about on the show. And this is just another great example. It's just a bunch of really fantastic songs that are fun to listen to, that are fun to dive into musically, if that's your thing. It is so great to kind of see them grow and become better. They're a fantastic duo, and I look forward to seeing more from them. They have some cool projects coming up. They've got their Winter Dreams compilation album that they're they're spearheading, which is I think them and some other artists creating songs kind of in celebration, I guess, of the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. So that's going to be really cool stuff. So go check out their Patreon. Consider it. Consider them throwing $1 every month to at least be part of that, what's going on there. It's really cool. But yeah, Love Exterior. Still solidified. It's still solidly #1 in my favorite music thing from Korea and one of my favorite bands, period. And this is just another example of why. But yeah, enough blabbering on. Let's get to the main event of the evening. What we've all been waiting for. Yes. Our haiku reviews. Let's get down to it. Brett, what is your haiku?
Just what I expect, with a few good surprises from these musicians.
Yes. Drew, what is your haiku?
A returning band ended up digging again. Get your chair dance on.
Yeah.
If you walk into the place and you ask for that, they'll first think that you're a cop, and then if you get on the good side, they'll let you pay the extra $50.
Yes. You got some of that chair dance, man. That chair dance. That chair dance will fuck you up. Patrick, what is your haiku?
Some of their best work. Fun genre exploration. I'll be back for C.
Yeah. Look forward to that. It's gonna be fun. That is of course all she wrote. God damn. That is all she wrote for our thoughts on Love Exterior's 37B. Great album. Go check it out. You can find it. I forgot to give my haiku. Sorry. I'm like, I don't know.
You're shook. You're shook, Petey.
I'm shooketh. My haiku. Ambitious project gets another great chapter. Quality stays high. And that's all she wrote for our thoughts on Love Exterior's 37B. It's on our. You can of course find it on our Spotify playlist. Play Record Breakers is the home game. Follow along at home. On that Spotify playlist will be next week's record, and that is provided by, I believe, Patrick.
My turn.
Yes. What do you got for next week?
I'm gonna pick an album I haven't listened to nearly enough, but I sort of got sucked into this week, and that is Red Fang and their album "Murder the Mountains."
Mm-hmm.
That's a country music album.
I mean, there is some. No, it's not.
No.
Yeah.
But it has.
Yeah. Is this ska?
Yes,
It is not ska.
Is it more ska?
If by
than
West
Rob
you
Zombie?
mean the land where weed is legal.
Portugal. Yeah.
Yes. That being said, all right, you can of course that is of course next week. But this is this week. And you can find us all over the internet. Patrick is at the Swagger. Brett is at HibbityBear, Brett HIBBI2YBIBBARD. Drew is at XJuciferX. I'm at PD Rave. The show is 4 Record Breakers. That's the number 4 Record Breakers. RecordBreakersPodcast.com. RecordBreakersPodcast@gmail.com is the email. If you want to email us things. Rebelli.net for this and other shows. Rebelli TV on YouTube, etc. You can like, share, subscribe, find us where you find podcasts. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Toodaloo.
Annyeong. Fighting.